my thoughts on Hyperianism and where I'm at with it. And what is Hyperianism? Hyperianism is a system of ontological mathematics, which I've talked about in posts. I'm not the best at math at the moment. I'm going to learn at my own pace. But it involves ontological mathematics, critical thinking, rationalism, logic, and reason, which is all great things to have, which is all wonderful, which is what many, I see many people, myself, included, go by that method. But here's the thing with that. Hyperianism teaches you that ultimately you are to delete being human, as in all the attributes associated with the humanism and all that, and step into the God space, essentially. Make your body, or your mind at least, into a God. The body, that's a whole other subject. But the idea is to bring yourself into that space of being a God, a God mind, to the basically what philosophers, this is what Hyperianism studies too, is what philosophers have said throughout time, since, time began, or as long as we can understand the written word, the written language. And so that's kind of where the basis of Hyperianism began. Hyperianism, the word itself, has just been a recently coined phrase to describe what has already existed. The true knowledge, the true everything. And it is true. But here's the thing, even though it is true and accurate and makes sense and all that, you don't have to necessarily follow it to become a god. That's the thing, I would say that, yes, you should accept that ontological mathematics also sacred geometry. As I said, I'm not good at math, but I know a little bit. So, but you look at like sacred geometry and the Fibonacci sequences and all that, and it's there. That's mathematical. That's the universe. That's the universe put into numbers and our understanding of it. Look at computer codes, all computer codes, the binary codes, the zeros and the ones and all of that. Many things in science. Science, of course, cannot explain everything. We'll just leave it at that. You can catch other videos to check out more on that by other fellow Hyperians. However, science itself can explain or uses numbers through its teachings and its research. Physicists, professors. Math is a huge part in chemistry and alchemy and the sciences and all of that stuff. Occultism. So mathematics is essentially a very important truth, and yes, it is part of our existence, but you don't need to necessarily know it. Like, you don't have to know what everything means, I guess, because I look at it like this. We're open to our own interpretations, and if one chooses to see it mathematically as the number frequency, that's up to them. But if they choose to see it as something else, that's up to them as well. If they choose to see it as both, that's up, and for me, I like to look at it as both right now, or it's nothing. I like to look at all different angles, actually, because I do want to learn, the mathematical thing, because I look at it as more like, hey, it's something new to learn, why not, right? But as far as other things, I pretty much am there, it's the idea to stop the repression of everything, to stop repressing ourselves or our shadow selves. We are both the light and the dark. We are not just this idea of one-sidedness or we should be one thing and fear the other, what religion has done. what not just religion. I mean, the New Age movement. What it has done? The New Age movement is picking up where religion left off, essentially, and that is the point: is to move past all of that ideas of aliens and gods and goddesses, and I mean, Carl Jung explained it awesomely, and that the descriptions of the archetypes, and the archetypes are us, and I've let that sink in a little more. I've looked into archetypal activations, maybe to see if it's something maybe I am doing on my own, or like just kind of learning about it and looking at different things differently, and then just watching like some videos and other things, and just observing people from that different perspective. You can see some archetypes there. You can see some the personalities. We are all essentially archetypes of ourselves. Some may embody one, some may embody more than one, some may embody one for a short period, switch to another. Archetypes are like personalities, basically. It's another way, at least this is what I understand from my research of it, is that it was explained through psychology, and the different aspects of the self. Essentially, look at a case of possession, demonic possession. Now, if we are to accept, look at it like this: we are to accept the fact that we are gods, which means we literally do create our world. We do it on autopilot, all the time. This planet, this so-called planet, is in fact a seed planet. It is. No conspiracy bullshit. None of that bullshit. We created it essentially for ourselves. I mean, this is our existence. We exist as humans. We exist as we look at ourselves now, however and whatever differences and we think we have and all that bullshit. As we are now, we don't see ourselves as aliens, although that's where the conspiracy idea comes from, because we want to see ourselves as aliens. It's a deep-rooted fear that, see, this is the thing with that. I'm kind of rambling on. I think I'm just going to kind of, go with the flow. But anyway, we see ourselves as these reptilian creatures because, well, for some of us, for some, they lack that within themselves, that they fear this thing, so it's created as an external conspiracy idea, and that's where many conspiracies come from, is the fear. Oh well, this must be an explanation. I was in that point at one time. Now, to look at everything as being true, I think it was Nietzsche. I'm not sure. I've been looking at a lot of philosophers lately, but I think it was Nietzsche that said, there is something like there is no fact, basically. There is nothing that is fact. Everything that is fact is true for the individual who believes it to be true. In other words, what you think is fact is not fact to me, and vice versa. That being said, nothing is ever true. Scientific fact is still only a matter of perception, because it is based upon what those scientists deem as truth for themselves. Okay? Now, it's looking at the idea of logic being, 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Which will always be true. It's not going to be 2 plus 2 is 6 or 8 or 10. It's always going to be 4. That is applied logic. Okay, that is something that's true in every single person. That everyone can agree upon that fact, and if they don't, well, like children or whatever may not know that yet. But everyone agrees on the fact that 2 and 2 is 4. No matter what language, no matter wherever, that's something that is considered logic. So this is where I think, the perception of logic should be an idea that is agreed upon by all, rather than something that should be, that people say, oh, this is how it is, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, certain things are meant to exist as they are because we set them up that way. Like a lake will always be a lake, a mountain will be a mountain, all that stuff. Certain animal, the various animal species. A lion will be a lion, a tiger will be a tiger. A snake, a snake. You get that idea, right? And like a snake will never be like, you cannot change this. You can't change the shape of a snake into the shape of a lion. Okay. That is logically impossible. So some things are not possible, and the reason for this is, look at it from the game perspective, as a video game, as a holographic world, that each one of those animals or objects or things you interact with must be as they are. They must exist that way. You see, the reason for so many animals and all that in the first place is our imaginations. I mean, we can already conceive anything possible. In an aspect, we can destroy things too, as we have done, So, there's a lot more to this world, and this is what Hyperianism is, I feel, is getting to, One thing that I'm not sure I agree with some Hyperions, I've seen mixed opinions about this, is the idea of manifestations. Manifestations, I mean, in other words, you get what you call forth. Now, not none of the law of attraction, but you have to put in actual physical work. And if that's something as simple as, getting online on your phone or computer or tablet or whatever, and doing things that way, because that is, believe it or not, that is a huge impact right now. That's a whole other subject. But even that little thing, that's still, even the pushing buttons is a physical action. So you take whatever physical action is needed, however quote big or quote small it may be, and that is what you apply to create your world. Now, as for me, I can only speak from experience, and I've seen so many things manifest that I've had happen, or had the choice to have happen, or many of my visions have come true. Many of them, I've shared some of them in my work. I've shared other ones and whatever. So that is what I follow. That is what I stick with. That is what is true to me. That is, that's something I'm not going to, deny. And intuition is a very big part of Hyperianism as well, because you use your intuitive ideas to navigate the world. Your intuitive mind. To gain access. Now, what I like about the Hyperianism aspect is it talks about the filtering of things. Again, back to the gods and goddesses and all that stuff. Those exist as characters, as basically as the physical descriptions we give something. Comic books can be looked at, movies and film. This is where movies and film all come from. When you give energy, because when you break it down, all of it is energy, and energy itself has no look, has no physical appearance. We are the ones that give it such. Okay, we are the ones that give energy, this physical body, into a plant, animal, person, as far as that goes. And then to take it further, an imaginative being, such as on films and movies and stuff like that, is where we see everything. Music videos, it's everywhere. Observe. I would advise everyone to kind of just observe yourself and others in a different way. See them as what they are. See yourself, your different attributes, what you like about yourself, what you don't like about yourself, what you like about others, what you don't like about others, what they like about you, what they don't like, all that stuff. That's what makes everything so awesome, is because everything is balanced, essentially. And this is why, this is the point. We are here in a time loop, essentially. We just don't remember. We have the idea, or at least I've come to the conclusion, I don't know, I see a lot of people that have come to the conclusion too, that we are here as we have been many times before. We don't necessarily, may not remember our past selves, or some of us have glimpses or whatnot, or, past occurrences or whatever as to what we were. And, but other than that, there's not much because it's filtered, because we're meant to experience this life. But we're also, once again, meant to remember, we are meant to remember, you know, that this is why we are here, why we thought to exist as these physical vessels, is to play the game, is to construct it. This is all pretty much a game. This is the Matrix. If you don't think the Matrix has any relevance to truth, then you need to watch it way more. Okay. I mean, that movie explains the nature of reality. It's pretty much not the only one, but one of the greatest, I feel, because we are the Matrix, the zeros and the ones. Best description. That's the core of mathematical reality. Is the zeros and the ones, God source, the God code, if you will. It exists as nothing, but nothing is everything. Infinite. So then, yeah, why are we here then? If we know this, why exist? Why be in existence? If we know we're nothing and all of this, right? Because we want to exist. Because we want to exist as physical. Thought cannot exist as physical. Thought itself does not exist as physical. It is the imagination of ourselves that exist right now as physical vessels. It's basically taken everything that we know we are and putting them into this world we've created, and then severing the cord that from our true selves that put us into this game from our game selves. And we're meant to remember everything everything is encoded in this world. And we're meant to remember everything that way with a little bit of consciousness into the next. And every perspective on this planet is, once again, true for the individual. This would be why the planet is the way it is. This is why you have areas of war and destruction. You have areas where none of that happens. You have areas that are totally cut off from most modern conveniences we have of the world, technological. You have countries like Japan who are more advanced than some other ones. You have countries that are more not as advanced, or war zones. Then you have, just calm nature areas, deserts, cold climates, all types of climates, and then you have nature events, volcanoes and all that stuff, earthquakes and tornadoes and storms, whatnot. Nature. So all of these things exist by way of ourselves. In all different environments, all different realities, all different information. You see, we control our own reality. Every person that exists as they are existing, that is, has their own reality. And we all have our own, but can also obviously interact with other realities. We can. And then that part of that reality, that time period, that window becomes a part of ours for a lesson, and vice versa, we become a part of theirs. But still, we each have our own realities, and that's the collection of the world. This is why there's so many different belief systems. This is why there's so many different ideologies and cultures, and the way people dress and think and talk and languages and the placements of people. Everything is all because of this. Is because everything is just an experience. Everything is imaginations living out as they are and what they are. It's essentially what we are. We're all just our imaginations of ourselves in this current existence, because in the next existence, you could be something else. You can be whatever the hell you wanted, or nothing at all. It's up to you. It's up to your synth mind, your mind that connects yourself to the all, to your all, and whatever that is, And I say whatever that is because you can see it as a ball of light, you can see it as darkness and zero, you can see it as, that choice is up to you. It's whatever. There is no fact, there is no truth. There is only what you choose to believe that is true for you at that time, you see. So yeah, I guess those are just some thoughts I have for now. And if I have any more, I'll do another session. I'm going to look at this as kind of like a podcast, whatever. Just speaking to myself, just flow. So yeah, possibly more of these to come as I get the time to do them. And look forward to your views and, hearing back from what you have to say. Drop a comment or whatever below, wherever you see this. I look forward to you, hearing from you. Love you all. If you want, follow me on my social media pages. Get in contact with me. All right. Love you guys. Echo your sounds. If you would like to book a personal session with me, you can do so by reaching me at any of the following links. Until then, take care of yourselves. Echo your sounds.